Here's a fun and easy way to turn empty aluminum cans headed for the recycling bin into something totally unexpected. Start by rinsing and drying your cans. Then, using a pair of tin snips, carefully cut the cans open and flatten them into sheets. Be sure to wear gloves while doing this for safety. Once the cans are flattened, start sticking on the double stick foam rectangles. I got mine at the dollar store. The thickness of the foam gives the tiles a raised dimensional look that mimics real mosaic. When you've got a row ready, a regular pair of scissors will cut right through the aluminum to trim your tiles. For this project, I went with mostly the silver insides and used the colored outsides as accents, but full color would be fantastic too. I had a plain glass vase on hand, which was perfect for what I had planned to place in it. I opted to spray paint the inside of the glass just in case, so the foam wouldn't show through once it was complete. You can use any shape or surface that works: frames, jars, trays, even plastic containers. Just make sure it's smooth and clean. After cutting a few tiles, it was time to adhere them. There's not much wiggle room once they're stuck down, so aim for good placement. Trust me, it doesn't have to be perfect. Mosaics are meant to have a handmade organic look. Once the vase is fully covered and all the tiles are in place, give them a firm press all around to make sure they're secure. Now it's time for grout. I used a pre-mixed concrete patch, but you can use any thick grout-like material that will stay in place. Air-dried clay would be perfect, and if your tile gaps are smaller, puffy paint is a great lightweight option. After it's fully set, take a very lightly damp rag or sponge and gently wipe away any remaining grout from the tile surfaces. And that's it, a totally unique mosaic style vase made from recycled cans using easy techniques and simple materials. It's a great way to make something custom that looks like you bought it, not like you made it.
I saved 18 tin cans from the recycling. I used a can opener to remove the top of the can, and then I cut the rest open with tin snips. I washed both sides with soap, water, and a scrub brush, and then I dried it. I placed a strip of double-sided foam tape along one side of the tin and then cut it so it was the same width as the tape. Then I cut it into smaller sections about 3/4 inch length. I peeled the back of the tape and placed the tin on a rubber inflated ball. After the middle row, I added rows alternating between the top and the bottom sides. When I got to the more curved part on the ball, I left a little triangle space between each tile, and then I cut my tiles in half on an angle, used those pieces to fill in the blanks. I glued it to a thrifted candlestick, and now I have the most gorgeous gazing ball. Perfect for my garden.
We're going to need 5 soda cans. Make sure they are rinsed out or rinsed out pretty well and dry on the inside. Now we're going to go and take a razor blade. This is one that I have that is a handheld one, and these are so much better to go and use than just a normal blade. Go and cut the top of the can. After you have it at least half of the way cut, you can go and take a pair of scissors and then go and cut off the top of this can. Now, as you're cutting any of these cans, always keep in mind that this does have a sharp lip to it, so try to keep your hands away from it and try to go nice and slow as well. Go and turn your scissors or your blade, and then go and cut off the bottom. Any scraps that you do end up having from this craft, make sure to go and recycle. The bottoms, the tops, and pretty much any little bit of this can is recyclable after it's cut. Now go and clean any of this residue that might be in any of the cans, and after they're dried off, we're going to go and flatten them slightly. Go and take the cut piece of aluminum, fold it, make sure you don't really leave a mark in the center. Now we're going to go and cover all of these with just some sort of cloth, and we're just going to apply a small amount of heat to it with an iron or anything that you have like that. It does help to go and flatten it out just slightly. Now let's go and draw some leaves. Do these of different sizes. It should look kind of like what a teardrop looks like, and cut them out. You can fit anywhere between 5 to about 10 of these on every one of these sheets of aluminum. As you're cutting these, go nice and slow. The edges can be very sharp on the can pieces that are cut. Now that we have all of our leaves cut out, let's go and mark it down the center with a metal tool that we have. Go and put some little branches off for the leaf that's there. And it's probably a good idea to go and have a reference up. There's a couple of ways that you can go and do this. You can either go and take this and fold it into the middle up. I will be using these for the end of my longer pieces, or you could just have it like this where it's just slightly curved. Now that all of our leaves are shaped, let's go and cut some floral wire. I'm leaving some of these pieces a bit longer than honestly what I'm going to need, and that is more than fine because if I want to make these larger, I have at least the wire to do so. Now let's take our glue, use a very generous amount of it, put it onto the back end of one of your leaves, and then go and stick down the wire onto this piece. You might have to hold it in place for a couple of seconds, and now for this one, this is one of the pieces that I folded upwards, and I'm sticking this onto the end of this piece of wire that is a lot longer than the other ones that I'm using, and it's about 2.5 feet long. Now let's go and continue to glue down these pieces. And this glue does dry pretty quick, so it took about 1.5 hours for it to be fully dry. Now you can go and spray paint it. I'm starting off with just a very light green base, and after that green base is done, I'm going over everything with a black that is very light. Then I'm just going to wait for this to dry, and really didn't take too long. I did this on a nice and hot day. So after this side is dried, which I honestly still wanted some of the can to be showing at the bottom, I think it looks kind of cool. Now onto the other side, use green spray paint first, a small amount of yellow, and then at the edges of every one of these, use a very light amount of black spray paint. This is going to make it look a bit more plant-like, and it gives it just so much color, and these look so cool after they've dried. And I waited about a day just so everything was fully and totally dried and didn't come apart. Now I'm taking the larger leaves that I have, putting them at the top here, and I'm kind of just going down from there and continuing to go and attach all of these leaves. Now these pieces have a bunch of wire here, which is fine. I'm just going to cut them, size them a little bit, and then again, go and twist these down. Let's go and grab some wooden dowels. We're going to go and take the wire and twist it around, and make sure it does hang down a good amount. You're going to take at least 2 or maybe 3 of these and have them on wooden dowel. Try to get it centered or close to the center. Now go and fill up your metal tin or your planter. Take the wooden dowel, go and bury it into the dirt that you have here. After it's buried, go and move the pieces of leaves around. Just go and space it slightly, make it look a little bit poofy, and also have some of these pieces hang down. Here's what it looks like so far. It looks pretty cool. And I have this one extra piece that is off to the side, so I'm taking one more wooden dowel, going and twisting it, and like I did with the other one, burying it into the dirt. Now this is what it looks like after it is done, and it honestly looks pretty real. You wouldn't even believe that this was made with aluminum cans.
Have you ever wondered how you can put old cans to use other than just recycling them? And you're going to begin by cutting your clean can. And I use tin snips for this. When I say it's the hardest part, it's because it's just kind of hard to cut in a circle when you're limited. You want to be left with a nice sheet of that metal. Once you've got it flattened out, you're going to want to cut the metal into rectangles, and the size is really up to you. Next, you're going to set aside those metal pieces and cut the coat hanger into, for me, based on the size of, I then took a pair of pliers, also the snips, and made a bend at the top. Think of it like a stand for a garden flag. To me, that's what it really resembled, so that I could slide on the little metal pieces that I'd made. I took them outside and stuck them in the top of a box to paint. This is a really easy way to paint something without making a huge mess. I chose black so that my letters would stand out. Once your little tags are dry, you can use paint if you're skilled, or a bright colored Sharpie like this silver one here, to add plant names. Once the Sharpie or paint is dry, you can use these tags indoors or out. If you're going to use them outdoors, I would also suggest a nice clear coat finish after you're done labeling so that it doesn't wear off in the rain. But it's a perfect way to know what plant is what, indoors or out.